Here are my must-haves for selling at markets and conventions. So if you don't know me, I'm Feliciel, an illustrator that likes to do a lot of cute animals using my laser engraving machine. And I've been selling for about over a year now. So I'm still pretty new, but I have collected a list of all the products I use that I really think are necessary and maybe prevent making poor financial decisions like I did for certain products. And let's get this started. So starting off with a card reader. I personally use a SumUp Air now, but this is the first one I bought and I'm regretting getting this. This is a Zettel and I really do not recommend buying one if you plan on doing events, because the country in which you buy this and make your account is the only country this will be able to be used in. Now, as you may or may not know, I was living in the Netherlands, so for a full year I couldn't use my card reader since I had bought it in France. And the thing with events, at least in Europe, is that you're gonna quickly want to like step up your game and travel a bit more. So in my case, despite living in France, I do plan on making conventions in Belgium, the Netherlands again, and I'm open to Germany, Switzerland, etc. Which means that this little guy is pretty useless. The way that they work is that they take a percentage fee per transaction. So you are losing money, but frankly, in another hand, you're actually gaining sales because a lot of people will not have cash on them or they don't have PayPal. And the issue with using PayPal as well is that it's really not very fast, it's complicated. The time people figure it out, you really are losing time with potentially other customers. I do think I have a link for a discount for the SumUp, which I'll put in the description right below. But yeah, overall, get a SumUp. It's the one that, at least in Europe, everybody has. Since we're still on the theme of money, this is my other must-have, though it's not necessarily a need if you're a beginner, but it really makes it so much easier and practical. And this is a coin dispenser. Now, I got this little guy 6 months into selling at events because I was putting all my coins in this huge bag and I was constantly rummaging through it until I would find the right amount of change for the people that were buying in cash, and it was just so slow and like infuriating to not find the right amount of coins that this guy really helps. So essentially this allows you to organize your coins with the value, so 2 euros, 1 euros, 50 cents, 20 cents and 10 cents. I have a 5-cent slot that I don't use. And I place this inside of a fanny pack because you need to always keep your money with you, because theft is a thing at events. And losing all the cash that you've made is really not something you want. So the good thing with a fanny pack is that you strap it on you and it's not gonna go anywhere. A couple people also use coin boxes, but I find that people can like snatch it more easily, or that you might tend to forget it more. For instance, if you go for a bathroom break, you might not think of taking the coin box with you. Whereas the fanny pack is attached to your body, so you don't even need to think about it. Now, the next thing I'm gonna tell you, I had no idea I needed that until I started selling at events. And that is to bring a huge cloth to cover your booth overnight to prevent theft and to let people know that you're not behind your table right now. So what I like to use is those really big, I forgot the word, I'm gonna put it right here, because it's pretty weatherproof. So if I were to do outdoor events, it could still protect my stuff, and that's always nice. But honestly, you can also just bring a bed sheet and that will be completely fine as well. On the topic of fabric, we're gonna talk about tablecloths. So you're essentially going to want to look for fireproof tablecloths. In Europe, we have the M1B1 certificates that you need, because there's a couple of events that will only allow you to use fireproof tablecloths. And there's even a couple events where they test out the fact that it's fireproof with a lighter. So you really want to make sure you invest in the right one. So you can either go down the line of just choosing a nice color and then later down the line add a table runner with like your logo and name, or you can go down the other line, which is to do a custom tablecloth where you can just design the whole thing to fit your brand. I chose the path of just using a blue tablecloth, and I only recently got a table runner. Now that you have your tablecloth, you need to find a way to put forward your products, and this is when you need to figure out your display. Now, there's a couple of different options for you. At conventions, what is very popular are those little cubes. There's a lot of different solid color options, I went for blue because that's my brand aesthetic. There's pink, green, you name it. Or you can decide to go for the wire option. It's basically a bunch of tiny squares that are wired with the metal, and this allows you to sticky tack your products on them. A brand that's pretty popular for those one is called Songmix. You can find them off of Amazon, or you can look for some square buildable shelves, and to find a nice color, look for the children square shelves. You can also order acrylic shelves, and there's a bunch of different options for your display. I really recommend going on Pinterest and looking at different booth displays and just getting inspired what other people are doing. Though keep in mind, your best friend will be something that lays flat and that isn't too heavy. Since we essentially need to build up and build down and travel a lot, you really need something simple. Next up is something I find really important but a lot of people don't do, and it's to laminate your price sheets. So you can design your little price tag and item description to fit your brand so that everything is nice and cohesive. But then trust me on this, you really need to laminate them. It'll make them last so much longer. I've been using the same laminated price sheets since the beginning of doing conventions, and they're still looking great. I just printed a bunch of like numbers so that even if I end up changing my prices, I can just change the price number. And I also have a lot of blank ones. So for instance, I have one that has blank left. So if I only have 3 left of this one product, I can just write with a random pen that I have like 3 left of this product, and then I can just erase it at the end of the event. And last but not least is to get some lighting. So I use this little clamp on orchestra lamp. So it's originally designed to like put it on your like music sheet stuff so that you can put light on it when you play an instrument, but it's actually really practical for events. I just clamp it on my cubes and I put my light like this so that it'll really brighten it up, especially when it gets dark. This gets charged by USB-C, so the night before an event I make sure it's all charged up, and it'll last me almost a full day. I try to really make sure I keep it for peak hours and when it gets really dark. But the reason you want to get one is that at different events you'll have better or worse lighting. So it's just better to be prepared and have one in case, because it'll depend on your placement as well, and you can't really know this in advance. I've had so many vendors come at me and ask me where I got this, so this is off of Amazon as well. It is pretty expensive. It was like around 45 euros for one, and I have 2, but it really does a big difference when you are in a dark corner. Humans are essentially like moths. They will hoard at the light. So if your booth is very bright in the middle of a pretty dark place, it will bring people in. Though once again, this is a bit more of an advanced must-have. You can very much do without for your first events without any problem. But if you want to upgrade, this is amazing. Now you have it. That was all my must-haves and little tips for when you start out selling at art markets and conventions. Please put in the comments if you have any other ideas, because I'd love to hear them even for myself. You can like this video if you like it and share it to your friends that want to sell at events. And you can subscribe to this channel to see more art content. That's about all that I have to say. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye!